Hello. Hello, everybody. It is very warm, so I hope you don't mind that I'm running the air conditioning. I'd like to make a formal request to Aiden Dodge to not send 1,000 kilobit per second wave files. It takes a while to download. 4416 is fine. 48 if you're feeling fancy. But I feel like you're sending me 196 at like 32-bit floating point, and it's just not necessary. Besides that, little note, let's dive right in. First up, what do we got? God, it's been a while since I've been in the studio. Hope I remember how to do things. This looks like I already have some notes and I haven't even listened to it yet. Let's have a listen. Okay, that was interesting, as always. Very chord sounding, and I dig that about it. To me, it just sounds like an interesting start of an idea. It sounds like it's going somewhere. It sounds like it kind of almost got somewhere when it got here. Now, I will say that the transient on the cut, I think it's the piano cut. Some of these transients are a bit out of control, I would say. I don't know if it is the piano cut or if it's like a little percussive thing. That's really my only... I think that's like mostly my... my feedback for this one is that the transients are a little out of spec and it's not feeling like it's necessarily gone to a place. I think it sounds like it's going to a place, but it feels like you're just setting us up for something that hasn't happened yet. Also, am I clipping or anything on the mic? I feel like I adjusted the volume for something at some point. Anyway, that's what I think about this track. It's fun. It's weird. It sounds very much like you. Okay, I'll turn my mic down. One sec. Okay. I hope that is better. Hope I didn't overcompensate. Who knows? So, that's what I think. Those are my thoughts. All right, cool. Let's move on. Holy fuck. Okay. Wow. This is for the style of music, I'm sure this is incredible. There were some moments where I was like, okay, and then there were some moments where I was like, okay. I think my only real bit of useful feedback on something like this is that sometimes the vocals were kind of a little bit pokey and painful. And I know that the whole track is kind of a bit pokey and painfully loud, but there were some moments where the vocals were a bit hard on my ears, and that's saying a lot considering the rest of it is kind of supposed to be hard on my ears, I think. But besides that, it sounds like a thing. It sounds like it is one complete unit of something, and I don't understand what that something is, but it certainly feels like it understands what that something is. And I think that is the best bit of commentary I can do. Okay, let's move on. Thank you for sending. We got a short one from Swiss Cheese, which is allegedly a shit post. So let's have a listen.
Hey, you.
Am I the only one that doesn't understand where this reference is from? I don't get it, but people in chat seem to get it, so good job on that. I feel like this is from a movie that I did not watch. Look up Do Not Redeem Kit Boga. Oh, is it a streamer thing? And then... Oh, okay. I get it now. All right, well, thank you. That was indeed a shitpost. Let's move on. We are making some good progress today. We got Cat Attack, Afraid of the Light. Do you mind if I just... Okay. Those are indeed crackles. You can see them here and you can see them there. I like how you have written an entire song below 2000 hertz. That is impressive in its own right. I like this. I really like the chord progression that kind of like presents itself halfway through. I kind of wish that you leaned a bit more into that, because it felt like at this moment we kind of have like the bass notes moving around and creating this chord progression, which is really nice. And I almost wish that instead of kind of swelling up with those chords and then dropping down without having it kind of crescendos and then fades out again. I wonder what it would be like if you leaned more heavily into the chords and brought them out more and more and more, kind of leaned more into the musical aspect of it as opposed to the ambient aspect of it. But again, it comes down to whatever your intention is with this track. If this is meant to just be a straight up ambient track, then there you go. But I think it would be cool if maybe it got to the chords a little sooner, and maybe it leaned into the chords, and maybe there was a beat at some point. I think that you have a really cool like intro to like a really cool IDME kind of broken beat sort of thing. But as it stands now, it's a very beautiful ambient track as always. So thank you for sending. That's what I have to say. Let's check out Aiden Dodge's 214 megabyte masterpiece. Wonder what's going on right in this moment. Well, I guess we're going to find out, aren't we? Here we go. Fighting Your Demons.
You have yet to apologize for the fucked up shit you said, leaving my emotions compromised. And every time I hear your name, it brings back those feelings of rage. The story always stays the same when I try to turn a new page. So my decision is final. I never wanna cross our paths again. You've let my trust fall. You'll never have my respect till the universe ends. Summer's hot, but I'm managing without you. So much happier when I'm not thinking about you. Can't be happier when you're under the demon. When I'm continuing fighting your demon.
Okay, so here are my thoughts so far. I like the melody. I think that the vocals are. I think everything's over compressed, like chat is saying. I agree with that. I like the melody. I like the sentiment of the song. I think the lyrics are a little too literal, and also they don't really tie in. There's like the chorus, or the main hook of the song, is "Fighting Your Demons," which is also the title of the song. But the rest of the lyrics don't really have anything to do with that theme, right? There's nothing to do with haunting or evil or the devil. You know, it kind of is a little too literal, upset with somebody, and then it's just kind of fighting your demons, and then we get the dubstep drop. So from a songwriter's point of view, if you're going to make a song called Fighting Your Demons, and it's about fighting your demons, I think you should get a little bit more symbolic or metaphorical, or just lean into the theme of demonic stuff so that it feels like the whole thing is about fighting your demons. Because right now it's just kind of like, I'm upset with you for doing the things that you did, and now we're fighting the demons, and then the heavy dubstep drop, right? So I would say that is my main note so far. Besides the technical stuff, yeah, it's like the mastering, just everything is, I had to like turn it down on 2 separate occasions because it's just so loud, and it just doesn't have to be that loud. Like, sure, during the drops, you know, you can I still kind of feel like it's a little overcooked even in the drops, because the cymbals just kind of sound like a bunch of distorted cymbals. But you can kind of get away with it with that style of music, you know. It's not that big of a deal. But if you look right here, like leading up to the drop, we've just got, it's just mega. Oh, I'm getting a call. It's just mega loud for no reason. Okay, let's keep going. And then another thing that I thought was halfway through the drop, it just kind of copied and pasted. It didn't really, like, you went like a full half of the drop, and then it just kind of did the same thing again, which kind of seemed a little wrong to me. Like right there, I feel like it should switch up or something, but it just kind of keeps doing bwam, 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 bwam. Okay.
The demons are coming, I'll hit them all with the shockwave. You thought they could take me down, well that's your mistake. We start the game, but this time I'll be the one to pop. Cause I just wanna see you covered in your own blood. It is good, it's gonna take you, get you off my mind. Cause I'll do anything to help myself to be behind. I can't be happier when you're not here to deal me. So my decision is final. I never wanna cross our paths again. You let my trust fall. You'll never have my respect till the universe ends. Summer's hot, but I'm managing without you. So much happier when I'm not thinking about you. Can't be happier when you're not just a demon. And I'll continue fighting your demon.
Yeah, so I like some of the switch ups. I do think that the bwank could be switched out for something that does the same kind of thing but is different, because that's what's making it really that's what's making it feel a lot like really repetitive, is that we keep going back to bwank, bwank, like that bwank. You could switch it up with like a yoink or a different bwang, you know, like just a different sound. I think there's a few things. My main concern is just that I think the songwriting could be stronger in terms of keeping a theme throughout. My second thing is that it's very over-compressed. At least I can understand the lyrics, so that's definitely a good thing. But I just don't think the song has to be this loud before the drop section. It just is kind of painful for no reason. Then my third thought is that it's just too repetitive with the sound design. Like, yes, you switch it up every once in a while with like the ja 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 ja, you know, like but the initial bwang sound is always a bwang. It's always the same bwang, and that makes it feel a bit like stagnant, like you're loitering with the bwang. So don't loiter with the bwangs. Try switching it out for a different bwang or a blong or a yoink or something. Okay, cool. Thanks for sending. All right, we have a Twistex song now. A drum and bass idea by my friend Twistex. Let's have a listen.
What? We like it greasy, tough, speed it, rough. What? Rough and bassline that makes you wanna screw your face. Screw your face up, so face up, face up. And bassline that makes you wanna screw your face. Rough.
Okay, let me line this up. Right now, my main concern, I think, is with the drums.
Rough and bassline that makes you wanna.
I love the
bassline that makes you wanna screw your face.
Okay, here we go. So the drums just don't have the power that the tune had. I like the sound of the snare, I like the character that it has, but it's just not smacking me very hard. You know what I mean? I wonder if we just layered another snare on there dirty like. Let's see what happens. Go down to something here. Shorten this up a bit, maybe tune it up. I don't know. Give her a shot, see what happens. Yeah, I don't think layering that snare is necessarily working, but it could just be like somebody said, put your kick and your snare into a bus and just like distort it or give it a bit more power. My next thing is that during these drop sections, if we look at the image, I love the sound design, but there's just no width to the mix.
You know the ones, the bass lines that rock your vertebrae and they say mainstream. What? Mainstream. What? Rough and bass line that makes you wanna screw your face. Screw your face up, so face up. And bass line that makes you wanna screw your face. Rough.
Oh, when you do this wub, you should like pull everything else out except the wub, you know? so that it's really emphasized that there's this new wub. But this is the biggest problem with this track. When I solo just the side channels, not a whole lot left, is there? And that's the thing that stuck out to me the most. I think this track is dope. I just think that the I think that the sound or the drums sound a bit too far pushed back in the mix, and the mix just in general is too narrow. I think there needs to be some width because you're just leaning too much on the center channel. What does it say?
Breezy.
Breezy? Anyway, those are my thoughts, dude. It sounds cool. I dig it. I like where it's going. Explore the stereo field more and get those drums smacking me in the face. And then I think I'll like it even more betterer. All right, let's check out the next. What do we got? Somebody who didn't put their name in the title. Womp womp. We got UKG something, something, something. Let's have a listen. I mean, it's sick. It sounds dope, what you got there so far. I think what you've done is you've provided a cool environment for something to live in, but I don't hear the thing, you know? I don't hear the song. I hear everything set up, ready for the thing, but you haven't given us the thing yet, whether it's a vocal, choppy hook, some sort of cool melody, something. It's like, it's a super cool start, but now you gotta go and fuck around and add some stuff and try to figure out what the song is. And that's pretty much it. I don't really have any technical issues. You just gotta make a song now. But, I mean, you've done a great job in starting a song. Now make a song. That, I think, is all I have for this one. It sounds dope, though. It got me grooving. I was grooving immediately. It was instantaneous groove material. Okay, we are flying. Smoke with a 5, Mixada. Is that like a Miata with a typo? Let's have a listen. I mean, it sounds like something you could do a hard car edit to. You could chop up a Miata, some footage of a Miata, and do like the cool zoom swerve thing. It's cool, but like, where's it going? I feel like it feels like it's building up to like a trap style, like, you know, halftime of what it's doing, and then like getting like it kind of sounds like Jackal. I would check out some Jackal tracks, like older Jackal tracks, like from like 2015 to 2020, that kind of range of Jackal, and get some inspiration from him, because this feels like you're building up to a trap drop. I don't know. It sounds good for what it is so far, but it is what it is. It sounds like it's building to something that's not there. So put the thing there that isn't there, and then resend it. Cool. Vegamags, euphoric. So some of these sounds are very loud, and I'm also interested to hear. I think we've heard it on stream before, Bleed. I really like musically what it's doing. It's very nice building up, but like that, like some of these sounds are just so loud. Like the yoink, the main yoink sound is just belligerently loud. Like this moment right here actually kind of made my heart skip a beat. It's just way too loud. Same in the drops too. It feels like those wubs or like whatever you want to call those sounds. They just sound like they're in front of my speakers. It's kind of like I think it's just too loud. I think it just comes down to it just being too loud. Also, this is interesting. I mean, like we're getting a lot of gain reduction with my threshold at 0. I gotta pull, yeah. I just think those sounds are too loud. Okay, cool. My next thought is that there's not a whole lot tying the drop and the non-drop parts of the song together. It's like you have a cool drop and you have a cool part leading up to the drop, but besides being in the same key, I'm not really hearing a lot of integration between the two elements of the song. Like it doesn't feel like it's conveying the same idea. And there's a lot of ways to do this, you know, incorporating some of the parts from the intro. You took the wub sound and you put it in the build up, so at least there's that. But I don't think that's quite enough. I think you need to... I guess the problem is that in the intro and everything leading up to the drop, there's no real melody besides that piano thing that's like a very long phrase. It takes a very long time for that phrase to... It's kind of just doing ding, ding. So there's no real melody or motif or anything in the build-up leading up to it. And if you did have a little hooky thing, you could throw that in certain parts of the drop, you know, like at the end of a measure, you do the little diddle-a-dee and then you go back to the drop. And in that way, it ties the parts of the song together. That's just an idea, though. Let's keep going. I like this part. I like this section of your drop. To me, is quite a bit better than the rest leading up to it. So like, I don't know, it might just be because your woinky woink thing over here is like way too loud and kind of hard on my ears, and this kind of gives my ears a bit of a break. But I prefer this section over everything else leading up to it. Maybe that's personal preference. I have no idea. See, like, you kind of have dum, 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 like in the piano, but it's very in the background, and it's very subdued and ambient, and it doesn't feel like a main part of the song. And then again, like, your yoinks in there are just kind of off-putting. Like, they're so loud, and they stick out so hard against everything else that's happening there. So I'd maybe retool that a little.
Now we get serious, huh?
See, like, this is cool again, but there's some elements that just seem to be poking so loud that... Like, it almost, like, I don't know, it feels like there's either a compressor doing some fucking crazy shit, or the side chaining is drastically too long or something. There's just some things that the mix doesn't feel balanced to me. It doesn't feel under control. There's certain... like sounds that just seem to be jumping right out of my speakers and straight into my eardrums with knives and forks. Yes, we already reviewed yours, Aiden. You'll have to watch the VOD. I guess what I would probably recommend doing is maybe turning off your master effects, because that might be masking some of the mix issues. If you're... You know, it's not the end of the world to mix into a master chain. In fact, sometimes it's helpful, but you should be turning it off periodically and kind of doing a bit of an audit, because sometimes your master is band-aiding some mix issues, like this one thing that's way too loud, but the master's pulling it down and you might not necessarily notice it. So every once in a while, if you are mixing into a master chain, turn your master off and mix it for a bit, and then and see how it goes. Yeah, but overall, I think you got lots of good stuff to work with here. I think with some mix adjustments and maybe finding a motif and a theme and trying to tie all the parts of the song together. Okay, moving on. Let's check out Stinko. What a name. Unfair. Unfair is what I would say to Aiden about the fact that he had so many questions that he wanted to ask. Dude, this is kind of like Limp Bizkit. So what I would say so far is the fact that we've gone this long with something that kind of feels like it just should be like a little bit of a build into something else. I don't think like what you got here is enough to go this long. Yeah, to me, the whole thing kind of feels a bit like a build the entire time. Like I feel like it should be building up in like da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da da. You know what I mean? It feels like it should be building and then drops to something. Yeah, in terms of technical stuff, I feel like the guitar is a bit too, there's a Line 6 pedal that I used to use. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but there was a mode on it that was like super scooped, like no mids. It just kind of sounds like we just get the, but not the body of the guitar. And then another thing is like whatever these chords are, they kinda are a bit too like when, let's see. So they kind of sound like when you play like a chord on a bass guitar too low. Like they sound too. So like that, the rumbliness of it versus up an octave. I would probably take your minor third or whatever the chord and take that note and put it up an octave so that instead of well, that's down way too low. 1 sec. Instead of, it would be, and then it sounds like it should go to the major. Anyway, it's just that thing where you play chords and the notes are too close together down lower in the register. It just gets muddy and rumbly, and I feel like it's kind of doing that. But I like what you have here. I like the chuggy guitar. Musically, I like what it's doing. I think it just needs to build up and do something, you know, like there's the thing. That's the thing that we were waiting for. I feel like we didn't get the thing that we were waiting for. I think that's the biggest problem with this so far. It just feels like one big build. Okay. I hope that helps. Moving on. I hope Fehu is here. He told me to push it down. I did. And we're going to listen to it. Porto Robertson, Cheerleader, Fehu remix cover. Okay.
into the background. Hearts in her eyes, saying, boy, you better watch the time. Cause if you're not mine, I'd rather see you burn alive. Don't you need anybody? It's not. Somehow, I don't even know what she does now.
That was super cool. Except for the bitrate, you mother.
Kinda sad how can't back down. I'm tired of blending into the background. Hearts in her eyes, saying, boy, you better watch the time. Cause if you're not mine, I'd rather see you burn alive. Don't you need anybody?
I don't have any issues. I don't have anything to say except keep going. It's not long enough. It's not finished. It's sick. All the fucking tasty sound design stuff, all the guitar and the vocal chops, everything is dope except the bitrate. But hey, you have joined. I'm gonna stop. I've always drawn in MS Paint, but I always delete it. But now I'm just gonna keep making it taller, and then every week we'll have a more complete MS Paint drawing. I think that'll be kind of cool, and then maybe someday I'll make a big poster out of it. Okay, yeah, it's great, dude. Keep going, and send it as at least a 320. You can send MP3, no problem. Just make it 320. 1 month and it. Maybe, who knows? Okay, yeah, I wish I had some advice for you, but it's dope. I don't really have any advice. Just keep going, make it longer, finish it. All right, let's check out Near Do Well Outcast Me. I'm gonna go ahead and give her the old 2-second master here. Let's have a listen.
Can't you tell? You don't belong here.
You walk a path of expression, seeking your abundance.
Look at their eyes.
You don't walk alone.
Aren't you afraid?
Stay outcasted. Aren't you afraid?
Look at their striking gestures. Aren't you afraid? You don't walk alone, but they want you to stay outcasted. You walk a path of expression.
Okay, hold on. Let me draw the swing pattern. Oh wait, I got to do transparent selection. Isn't it great that Paint can do that? Okay, here's a whole. Oh shit! Hold on. Now I need to turn off transparent selection. There. What a beautiful. This is the distribution of this is the distribution of notes. This is a really terrible drawing. There's like no notes in the first 90% of each quarter note, and then all of the notes happen towards the very end of the quarter note, and I'm a big fan. I don't know what stream you're trying to get into, Jeremy, but thank you for stopping by. So yeah, it's cool. It's wonky. I like the swing. I like the extreme wonkiness of it. I think that the intro is it's going a little long without any sort of drums or, you know, something to like let us know that shit's about to happen. I think that there should be a bit more of a build up to the drop section to get us more hyped up, because I think when you drop, it's pretty cool. Like, it's cool, and I'm ready to like wonk out, you know. But I would be way more ready to wonk out, and I would be like looking forward and building anticipation if you had some percussion stuff building up, and you were toying with my emotions a little bit, like, hey, guess what's about to happen, and then boom, it happens, right? So I think that's my main thought on this one, is build my anticipation up a little bit more. So when you're ready to drop the bass, I'm right there with you. I'm ready to rock out and wonk out and rock out. Okay, that's it for that one. It's cool. I like where it's going. Keep going. Let's check out Multi Fox Dream State. Man, remember the Dreamcast? It had like the little mini screen in the controller. That shit was cool. All right, let's have a listen. I'm not a huge fan of that chord progression. I don't like that. The third chord sounds a bit off. It feels too far away from the other two chords. And sometimes you can fix that with voicing. So for example, if you have like, let's figure out how to open up the piano roll, because I forget how to do that apparently. Wow, that was not what I wanted. There it is. So like, whoops, that's not the right, that's not the right instrument. That is an entire song. Okay, here we go. So let's take, as an example, it's A. Let's see what the... I don't think that is the problem. I think it's more of the, hold on, let me at least get it kind of. So let's do this. I think this is what you're doing. Actually, I mean, it's not the right tempo. Oh, wait. No, you're not doing this. I think this is what you should be doing. I think this chord progression is better. But this demonstrates my point nonetheless. This isn't the right chord progression, but this is my point. So with voicing, you can see this note, if this was going to repeat, you can kind of see this note here. I realize now that I was hiding half of that. This note is like, all these other notes are kind of close together, but this E is like way out in the middle of nowhere by itself. If we just put that down an octave and then play it. It doesn't stick out as much, although maybe the better thing to do would be push this up an octave and push this up an octave. You can kind of play with voicing is what I'm trying to get at, to get it feeling like the chords relate to each other a bit more. This is a very bad example, but let's add in let's do a third note in there too. So we'll go back to the original. So maybe now we take this G. See, now this G ties into this G. And then as a side note too, you could create a call and response by maybe this G goes up and this G goes down. And now we've copied and pasted, but we now have a call and response because this is the first, this is the call, and this is the response. Or anyway, my point is, and I'm kind of just drifting off into chord land here. My point is, I don't really love the chords as is. They feel a little contrived. They don't really flow into each other that well. Oh, I think I skipped something. Yeah, there's just that third chord just is bothering me. It just doesn't feel great. Also, that arpeggio, not a huge fan. It's very loud and it just kind of feels kind of default-y. You know, it just kind of feels default-ish. Feels like you open up a synth and you play a chord and that's what comes out of it. Which in itself isn't kind of intrinsically a bad thing, but that's just what it just gives me that kind of idea. Same with the main like super saw kind of synth. Nothing in. I don't think this is your best sound design work. Just kind of sounds like a super square, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not this is not my favorite song of yours. It's just not really doing anything for me. I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to feel. I'm not really sure if this is like supposed to be amping me up or if it's I don't know. I don't think I have any very good feedback for you. I like a lot of the stuff you send, but I'm not a really big fan of this track. It just kind of feels a bit generic in both the musical sense and the sound design. It just feels a bit generic to me. Like, there are some redeeming features. You know, the mix isn't too bad. I would say that there's a few elements that are like too loud, like that arpeggio is really in my face. And I think the fact that I don't really like the arpeggio and it's in my face is maybe compounding that issue. But I think starting off with a better chord progression would do this a lot of good, because the chord progression just isn't inspiring to me. And I think if the chords aren't good and this is doing chords the whole time, then it kind of doesn't matter what you do. I would try to get a little more musical with the chords, figure out ways of, like I was showing you with like the call and response, finding ways to tie the chords together in a bit more meaningful way to tell a story. Because I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel when I listen to this song. And I hope this isn't too harsh. But I feel like this is not my favorite song of yours. And I hope that isn't discouraging either, because you are capable of great stuff. I'm just not a huge fan of this one. Okay, sorry. That's what I think about that one. Let's move on. Coder B5, 80s vibing in a phone booth with Michael Bolton. Wow, that's really setting the stage. Oopsies. The hell did I do? So to contrast and you know, not to compare people to people, but like this chord progression makes me feel like I'm longing for something. It makes me feel like I have a bittersweet kind of melancholy, like something didn't work out with a chick, but I'm like still enjoying the memories. You know what I mean? Like I can kind of put some emotions to this chord progression, and obviously the melody and stuff helps drive that home. But just the chords themselves and the tempo and the vibe, like I'm like, I can totally, it conjures up feelings. And that's kind of what I look for in a chord progression. Now, obviously, Coder B5 massively fucked up by exporting at 192 kilobits per second. I don't know if they will ever recover from this embarrassment, but the track is dope. It's missing a lot of high end, but I don't know if that's maybe just the MP3 doing its thing. I think your snare could have a bit more like standing at the top of a mountain, hitting it with like the reverb tail, like the 80s kind of snare, you know? And you could even like, maybe it's like every fourth snare has a big ka at the end of it or something. Let's see what this sounds like. Also, I don't know what the tempo is. What's the tempo? Now's your time to redeem it. Redeem. What is it? 100. 100? That was kind of cool too. You could even do like this. Like I think if you're gonna lean into the 80s, you gotta like fully lean into the 80s. You know what I mean? Maybe something like this. Whoops. My bad. I did a thing that I didn't mean to. Holy shit. Yeah, but I think like in general, your snares, even if you're doing like this is again call and response. You know, I'm doing a call, I'm doing a response, I'm doing a call, I'm doing a response, and then that, you know, there's layers of call and response, and that's all this shit is. But I think all of your snares should have a bit more top end and a bit more of that 80s reverb. Like I'm not saying this is the right snare. But it's solid. It's the melody, the chords, the beat, the vibe, everything's there. It just, I think, could use a bit more brightness and mix. Again, might be partially due to the MP3 quality, but I don't think it's entirely due to that. I think that might just be not helping it. And then you got to figure out how to make it a whole song, a whole ass song. It kind of reminds me of what's that band called? The 1975? Is that the 1975? It reminds me of, what is that song? 1975. The song is, one sec. What the hell is it called? I probably liked it. Might be this one. I can't remember exactly which 1975 song. There is one that sounds very similar to this that could maybe be a good inspiration for you to check out. But dig through some 1975 songs and you might find something that gives you some ideas. Because I feel like you might be stuck in just polishing what you have here, and what you have here isn't a full song yet. So I would do that. But yeah, great start. It's dope. Okay. What do we got? We got one last one, and it's a first-time submission. Lucky Socks. Lucky Socks, eh? New Zed Whip. All right, let's check it out.
Somebody help me, I might lose my mind like a melody looping on repeat. Rather be chasing sunlight, dreamy-eyed like a memory fading endlessly. Finally hit my limit.
So right off the bat, I got a couple ideas. The vocals feel a little too reverbed out or something. They're a little too wishy-washy. And the chords, although I do like the chord progression, I find it feels a little vague. Like there's kind of like, I can't tell if it's an organ or just like a synth. Okay, so here's the thing. The chord progression is kind of complex, which in and of itself isn't an issue. But for the most part, if you took away the sub-Reese bass thing, I feel like you're going to not necessarily hear the chord progression very well. Let's switch this back to stereo. Let's do this. Like I almost just hear like almost that one note of that organ sound. So if you take away your sub bass, I feel like you need to make that chord progression, what chords are being played, you need to make those more clear. I like the sound of the synth, but it's quite quiet, and the voicing is emphasizing that like one note in the chord. That na na na, that's where it gets a little iffy for me. I'm not quite sure what chord I'm supposed to be hearing. And with those deep respaces, you don't really get a whole lot of information out of them, you know, because they're just like, especially when you're down there moving like one semitone or two semitones, they don't sound that different, because when you're down that low, one semitone apart might be like 5 or 6 hertz, you know, like it's not a big difference. So you need to rely a bit more on like the chords to drive home the harmony of the track. Let's keep going.
In sunlight, dreamy-eyed like a memory, fading endlessly. Finally hit my.
Now, when we get here with the kick, the whole track is feeling very scooped. We have a lot of sub bass. We have very loud transients on the kick, like the top end, the click of it, along with the percussion stuff. But like in the middle, like let's check out the spectrum over here.
Finally hit my limit. Get me off this ride before I'm out of time. Before I'm out of time.
Okay, so now I can tell that you've spent all of your time on this section, and this section was like, shit, I need something to come before the drop, because this section's dope. I think the wubs are a bit loud, like they're just like some of them are a bit like, whoa, right? But to me, you've spent 96 to 97% of your time on the drop, and everything up to it was like, fuck, I need the rest of the song. Which sucks, because honestly, if I heard this first part, I'd probably skip it. But if I heard this part, I'd probably listen to it. So in order to get to this part, we got to get through the first part. So the first part is just as important as the drop part. And it's funny too, because now I can understand the chord progression better that I've heard it in the drop. And you've got kind of like these interesting harmonics telling me what the chord progression is doing, because the chords are very close to each other. They're doing kind of that Middle Eastern like major chords that move up one semitone and back down. And now that you've given me more harmonic information with these new synths and stuff in the drop, I'm like, oh, I get it. I can understand the chord progression a lot better than I could understand in like the build-up, because the build-up was just a bit too vague and like really emphasizing the bass, but not a whole lot of other harmonic information. The drop is sick, though. Don't fucking touch the drop. Don't even think about touching the drop until you build the song out. You need to put the same level of effort and care into the rest of the song as you do into the drop, because it still needs to be a song. Unless you're a DJ and you just keep throwing drop after drop after drop, you still need the song to exist. But yes, I do agree that the drop synth is a bit too, like I was saying, it sounds a bit too loud. Like it is a little pokey. It just sounds like you're trying to make it too loud. I'd take a step back. I'd turn off your mastering effects. I would get it sounding as good as you can without any mastering. And then after that, your life is going to be so much easier when you go to do the mastering. Because I'm just making an assumption here. I could be way wrong, but I feel like you got some mastering happening, and you might not have listened to the mix without the master in a while. So maybe it's time to do a little wellness check on the mix, turn off the master bus, get it sounding. I made it with the master on. Yeah. which is fine for like, it's good because it gets you excited. You can write, you can get into it, you can feel more inspired by what you're working on. There's lots of reasons to mix into the master and just have it do some of the heavy lifting while you're making the song. But at the end of the day, you could be fucking yourself by having your master on and you don't even know that, like, your main synth there that sounds too harsh. You might turn off your master and all of a sudden it's like 1,000% too loud. You're like, oh my God, it is 18 times louder than the kick drum. And the master was just doing all kinds of dirty things to try and like level them out. Doing what? You're a bit sussy. I don't know what I said to be sussy, but I am not sorry. Anyway, yep, that's what I think.
Finally,
Yeah, I think that the chord progression, I got a little fruit fly flying around. I think the chord progression is nice, but I do think you need to give it more definition in the non-drop sections. And I think you just need to work on the non-drop sections. But I think it's cool. Thank you for sending. All right, that's it for today. Oh, that's just my screen. I clicked the wrong thing. Do you only react to beats? What else do you want to send me a picture of your lunch? I'll give you some feedback on what you ate today for lunch. Or if you have a car, I could tell you what I think of your car. I'm an artist. I listen to songs. And I give my honest reaction and thoughts. And you can for sure send in your track. I do it every Friday. We're done for today. But if you want to hop over to this rate, wait, here, then you can submit your tracks and we'll have a listen. And I make electronic music myself, but I like all kinds of music, and I will let you know what I think, and so will everybody else, and maybe that's helpful, maybe it's not. I don't get paid. Nobody else gets paid. I love everybody. Have a good weekend. Okay, bye. I'm still here. Sometimes I think I might just say bye, and I'll just sit here in silence for a long time and see what happens. Maybe that'll be my new thing. But not today. All right. I love you. Have a good weekend. Bye.